Hello, everyone, and welcome to session 4 of Paradise Arrested Behind Closed Doors. When we last left off, all of our apostles had gone to deal with a strange, unknowable shadow threat, returned to their tears to each talk to their deity patrons separately with different results and conversations. However, all of them had different personal missions, as is the right of the apostle to do, for them to do. Some of them very serious and perhaps world-threatening, and others more petty, and others, I don't fucking know what it is. So all of our apostles just happened to need to go to Sul Alcana, which is the capital of the continent of Alcana. And each one was assigned a special mission. Lithian was initially assigned to talk to the apostle Theord of Baratos, because there had been some concerns that perhaps something was being created that was perhaps dangerous through a series of good planning beforehand and stealth rolls and following and conversation. Lithian was able to get out of a poor, very stressed out Theord. That actually, Baratos apostles have an unfortunate job of having to deal with Baratos really just wanting to create weapons of mass destruction all the time, and having to figure out how to take those ideas and make them into something that is less destructive. But through that process has currently created something that could be very dangerous, or perhaps could be very useful if these shadow things end up becoming a problem. Then we have Rohirri, who was just told that it would be really funny if the Archbishop, and I just realized I forgot his name. Give me a second. Oh, I just said I just called him the Archbishop's home. That's not good, Sarah. What'd you do that for?
Been there.
I have a name for him. Duskleys. Archbishop Duskleys' home, and through a series of rolls had figured out how to make, I don't know, a magical railgun through a series of ridiculous spells. I don't know. You spelled all your spell slots, which makes me happy because this will be fun. And created a massive wall. While I believe Rohirri is going to be able to escape from the chaos and destruction of the blast, she was not very good necessarily of trying to seem innocent beforehand. So we'll see what the results of that will look like. And Saphira was told that because Athala is a bit of a bitch, Lycilia would like her to find this very a prodigious sketch artist. And try to lure her into Lycilia's grasp. Unfortunately, Psyche is bubbly, adorable, very talented, and very oblivious to all manners of sexual attraction. And then we have Nereus, who we are going to start with today, and he was given a riddle because Miro is fun that way.
Oh,
And
can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
I forgot. Did we all come here together? Like, do we know that we're all within the same city right now?
I think you would. I wouldn't say that like you came here together as in you're like, hey, y'all, buddy, we're gonna show up together. But I think due to the telepathic connection with each other, you have
Right,
some
we were still-
awareness. Yeah,
still-
that
I think we
you're
said
here.
we had planned to meet up.
Yeah. So you might. So yeah, I think that's right. I think at one point it was like, okay, hey, we're here. Let's maybe meet up the next day or something like that.
Okay.
So we are now going to. It's actually been evening time. I will get back to the end of the three of you before Nereus of kind of what's happening in the evening, because Rohirri, you still got stuff to figure out. But I'm going to start with Nereus, because Nereus needs to figure out what he's going to do. He was given a riddle from Miro that led him to the classy cornucopia. And he knows that it has something to do with a contest. But once he showed up, was alerted by the Raidiri, which are those who cage the spark, or on Rado, the cage spark. They arrived because someone sparked without permission, essentially. and it is a 6-year-old little girl. And he has to, and they need his help because 6-year-olds don't do very well in knowing what their thing is. And that is where we have left off. So, Nereus, I believe you were like sitting in kind of the open like.
Yeah, I was in the outside, sitting in front of this
Yes.
place. And they had just informed me about this little girl. And yeah, I'll enter the building, and I believe she was upstairs, but I'll look
Yes.
around and see if she's on the first floor, and if not, I'll go upstairs.
No, they are gonna lead you quickly. It's a tavern, so there's rooms
Yeah.
up there. And while you're walking, one of them is going to explain to you. So, this girl, she and her family had come here, and then they'll explain further. But they were supposed to be staying here for a couple of days. And he wants to know if you have any other questions before he has you come in to see them.
Is the family still with her?
Yes, it's a excuse me. Yes, it's a mother, a father, just a mother and father, actually.
Do they seem to understand what has happened?
They understand that their daughter has become Onredo. They're not exactly sure how, and well, the mother is definitely upset because she knows that usually Onredo do not have normal lives, and I would say the father is mostly in shock.
All right. Well, lead me to them.
He nods and motions you inside. I'm gonna get some water. Sorry, 1 second.
It's okay. Let you get to the wall first.
Okay, I'm good. What's up?
So, I'll go in, and introduce myself to the family as Nereus, the Apostle. The Apostle?
Nereus Apossible.
I'm Nereus Impossible.
Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. with Saphira Stoppable.
That's right. And, God. So I'll introduce myself as the Apostle of Magnificent Miro. And with that, I'll ask the parents if I may speak with their daughter. I'm not asking them to leave. I'm just trying to be polite.
Yeah, so when you walk in, you're kind of walking into that sort of like living dining room of the tavern. You don't quite see what you imagine must be where the daughter has been located, and based on what you know of the layout, she must be like in the bedroom. And you see the mother on the couch, basically her head in her hands while the father is pacing. And I think one other thing that catches your eye is on the ground there is a broken piece of pottery, and I would like you to make either like an insight, perception, or investigation check, whichever you feel most comfortable with.
Investigation, perception check. I will do investigation.
That's fine.
Wow. Well, I got a 1, which gives me 10.
I mean, honestly, the 10 is enough to see this. The pottery that broke, obviously you don't exactly like go in this tavern all the time. You don't really know its decor, but the pottery does not fit the decor. And that's what I will tell you with the 10.
The pottery does not fit the decor, like they brought the pottery. Or,
Possibly.
yeah, and it's broken. Okay. Do I have my Magatama?
No, that's your insight check.
Okay, got it.
Um,
I don't-
So the father will look to you and nod. Yes, our daughter, we just had her sit in the bedroom for now. It was very, very bright. You
Of
know
course.
this to be that this is due to the spark igniting.
Yeah, the man. I'm sure that it's been somewhat unsettling day for the both of you.
I just don't understand. I thought sparks aren't supposed to happen like this.
The gods move in mysterious ways. And there are things that, even now, with all the knowledge that we possess, we are still learning. And those things can be frightening. But know that all of us, as representatives of the gods, are here to support you. And the new life that your young one will lead.
But why would they take her from us? That's the mother finally shouting out.
Well-
She looks at you.
I'll try to smile at her, and if she'll let me, I'll put my hand on her shoulder.
She will.
And now, what we need to focus on right now is what your daughter needs and how we can best help her acclimate to this change. I know that's ultimately what you want, to make sure that she is all right. So, would you let me talk to her? And I'll look to one of the people that brought me in. I know that I don't have any authority over them, but I'm an old man, so I don't worry about bossing younger people around. And I'm going to say, could you bring some water and cloth here?
Of course, Apostle. And one of them will go downstairs to do that.
Why don't both of you have a drink of water, steady your nerves, and I'll be back to talk to you both in a moment.
They nod. The father finally sits down and motions motions you to the room where his daughter is. Kiri,
I'll
that's
knock on the door.
Come in.
Open the door. Hello, Kiri, is it?
So Kiri, I mean, she's a child, but she a very glowy child. Her original skin color was a pale sky blue with, you're not really sure what she used to really look like. You only see what she looks like now. Which
Right.
is this pale sky blue. Interestingly, you see the coloration over her skin. You've seen a lot of different deity spark, and you know, of course, your deity spark. There's always kind of like a lava lamp we would call, of like the way that their skin flows. It's like tattoo lava lamps of different kinds of shapes and stuff. Hers is like imagine like a fractal light. So there's no exact color or exact tone. It looks like it hasn't fully made a shape yet.
So there's like fractal patterns scintillating over her body.
Yes.
I see.
And even
I put on my sunglasses.
exactly. And even her hair has become very wispy and cloud-like. And she's just kind of sitting on the bed. She looks a little bit more mortal right now, not like the full ethereal of like the first ring gods kind of can be. But even her eyes are just this searching, almost vacant stare as she looks at you. Who are you?
My name is Nereus, and
Oh, Miro's got you.
yes,
Oh.
Mighty Miro does.
I see. He's always watching you.
So they say. Do you mind if I sit?
Oh, you can go wherever you want. I'm just here right now. I'm not sure what happened. They say I sparked.
Yes. I'm going to. Is there a chair in the room?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because this old man would struggle to get on the floor.
No.
So I'm
sit
gonna
on the floor.
I'm gonna pull a chair up and then sit down and lay my staff to the side, and put my hands in my lap and sort of lean forward so we're at the same level.
I hope I can answer your questions. You have a lot of them.
Yes, I do. You know that how full of questions I am.
Well, it's like I know you have a lot you want to know.
Yes.
There's a lot. It's like a big old vase that's overflowing.
Vase. Interesting. He'll glance back at the broken pottery behind him. Well, let me ask you this then. Do you know which question I want answered most right now?
Did you say right now?
Yes.
Interesting. So wait, before you said right now, she goes, oh, right now. I guess you want to know what happened. You seem to think. Make an investigation or insight check.
25 investigation.
Very good. The way she said that and the way she actually answered, you're thinking that right now question actually threw her off. but
Yeah.
She seemed to have a real answer to say before when you asked what's the question you wanted most answered.
Yeah, I think, well, she sounded like she was going to say prime, so I think she knows what my greatest question is, which is interesting. Yes, I want to know right now what you're feeling.
Oh, it's kind of weird. She kind of teeters back and forth. It's like before I had to make sure that I made this pretty pot,
Yeah.
but now I see everybody's pretty pots.
Can she see into the timelines?
Gotta ask more questions. I mean,
Are-
like I see the pretty pots everybody else wants to make.
I see. Do you see the pretty pots they already have made, or just the ones they want to make?
Oh, I see the ones they're thinking of making. They really want to make. Some of them are gonna make them, I think. I don't know
Yeah.
about some of the others, but some of them I think they'll make it. I bet they're
That's
gonna be
wonderful.
real cool and real
I
pretty.
bet. Did you make the pot back there? I'll point back to the broken shards of the pot.
Yeah. I made that. So I make pots, and mom and dad, they were like they really were thinking I could make more pots for Athala, and so we came here to see if Athala liked my pots. And see, so my parents, they were really hoping that I would be able to make pretty pots for Athala. And then it just was a lot, and then the pot broke, and then I exploded. And light.
like
and
you
stuff.
do.
Oh, sorry. I sort of look down. I go, that Well, the good news is that makes a lot of sense.
Yay!
And I did see your pot back there, and it was very beautiful. And I think
Thank you.
anyone would be lucky to have one of your pots.
Oh, that's okay. I think the bigger thing with the pot is so that mom and dad can have the life that they want.
Right.
Although
right.
I guess it's gonna be different now. Are you gonna take me away?
I am not sure. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. What I am going to tell you is we're going to make sure that wherever you go and whoever you go with, you are safe and that you are going to be taken care of. And what I would like is to make sure that you and your mom and your dad are happy. But there's a lot of questions, and we have to find the answers to those questions so that I can figure out the best way to make you all happy. Does that make
Wow.
sense?
Oh, I mean, I see it. You got this like big thing you're trying to solve, but I think you'll get it.
Well, that's very reassuring, Kiri.
I mean, I know mom and dad are really worried about what's gonna happen, but I think they'll be okay.
Well, if you think that they'll be okay, then that gives me a lot of confidence. Does it give you a lot of confidence?
Oh, I mean, she thinks about that question for a moment. I don't know. I just see that it's like seeing everybody with heavy pots on their backs.
Yes.
It's real heavy. But they got it. I think they'll get it. You got a big pot from Miro.
I did. It's a very, very heavy pot. And I'm
It's
hoping
real
that
heavy.
Yeah.
I see like I can see it over your back, and I see it making your back bend. But I think you'll carry it. I think you got it.
Good. Good. I don't think my back's bent too much, but right. Well, good, Kiri. Do you see your own pot?
She thinks about that for a second. I see Mom and Dad's pots on me.
Yes.
I think it was there before I sparked.
I bet it was. I bet they were very heavy to carry, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a lot.
That's all right. You know, one of the good things about you and I getting to know each other is that we can help each other when the pots get very heavy.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's true. You know, I've seen sometimes that the more people that help carry the pots, the better that they go. And it's kind of cool because then they feel better about the pots. And I
I
know
bet.
they feel better about the pots.
You've seen a lot very quickly, haven't you?
Yeah, sometimes I don't see what's in front of me.
I
'Cause
bet.
I just see the other stuff. So
I
like
bet.
the cook's downstairs, he's got a family of 6, and he's got, you know, the money they make here, you know, for that, and his pot's really, really big, but he does this every day. You know that? He does this every day, and I know he's got it. And he knows he's got it because he keeps doing it.
That's right. He keeps going.
Yeah, he keeps going, and even though he doesn't know what tomorrow's gonna be, he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna keep going, you know. And I think like, I know the person next door to us, they got big pots too. You have friends
Good.
with big pots.
I do have many
Oh,
friends with big
Can't just be
pots.
talking about people's big pots like that.
I do. There are a lot of people out there. You know, Kiri, what I want you to do right now, you've answered my questions so well, is I want to know, do you have any questions for me?
I just want people to know it's gonna be okay, even though they have big pots. But I don't know how to do that.
Well, you know what? Maybe that's something we can help figure out together.
Okay.
You have a very big heart, Kiri. And I want you to know that we're going to make sure that it's taken care of. But for now, I'm going to get you some water, and I'd like you to drink it, and maybe just try to focus on drinking the water. Taste it.
Okay.
Let it be cool. Let it be refreshing. Maybe for just a moment, let's just think about the water in the cup and not all the pots. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go get you that drink. 1 second.
See,
I'm
a
gonna-
cup is kind of like a pot when you think about it.
I'm going to stand up and I'll get one of the cups of water. I'll pour a carafe and I'll give it to Kiri and I'll let her know that she should enjoy that and I'll be right back. And then I'm going to go back out to the parents.
Hey, Nereus,
Yes.
your real big question.
Yes.
I think you'll get it.
Well, thank you, Kiri.
He drinks.
That's very encouraging. I'll
Three
go back
ducks,
out.
Nereus. 3 ducks is the answer.
That's 3 ducks. It's what was it? What was the stupid question? It was how many?
How many
duck-
duck?
How many duck?
How many duck? The
No,
answer
it's how
is
many is a duck?
How many is
how
a
many
duck?
is a duck? And the answer is a
Three
cluck.
3 duck is a duck.
Yeah.
I'm just
Same with
glad. I'm
Quack.
just glad you weren't like, I'm gonna go get Lithian so he can take this kid away from the parents.
Yeah, Nereus was like, listen, I may never have had children, but there are some people we definitely don't need to call right now.
I was gonna say like Saphira would be the absolute worst.
Saphira would go, ew, someone was pregnant. And then
Okay, you know what? Saphira would be the worst. I was gonna say. I don't know. I
Saphira
think
would be the worst. Saphira would be the worst.
The absolute worst. They'd be like
She'd be
this
like,
child would
oh,
be explaining
crotch
about-
goblins. Oh.
She'd be like,
Are we
explaining
sure-
about the pots, and she would just be like, "Yeah, sounds rough." Anyway,
Yeah, that's.
I gotta go
ugh.
figure out how to fuck this artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are we sure Saphira would be the worst? Because Rohirri.
No,
I mean, at least
let,
you
let
have
me
concept
say,
of family.
there's a reason I didn't call either of you three yet, okay?
You know what?
Because-
I might actually be the second best now that I'm
I
thinking
think,
about it. That's
Lithian,
kinda
I'm
fucked
telling you
up.
right now, I think you would be the second best because you wouldn't have like a bedside manner, but you'd get her where she needs to go.
Yeah,
You know what I
guess.
mean?
I feel like
You get her
Rohirri would
where
be like,
she-
can you pick up a hammer?
Right, Rohirri would be like, so I see you smash that pot. Fuck pots, am I right? Everybody's got a heavy pot. Where?
Genuinely, the line in my head is like, everyone's got such heavy pots. You want to blow them up?
Yeah, well, let's blow those fuckers up.
That's the problem with
Wow.
Rohirri and Saphira is they would both just say "fuck pots." Am I right? But they
Yeah.
mean it differently.
But they mean it, yeah, 100%.
What is a pot to ever? I feel like when we all picture people's pots, we're all picturing something different.
I'm picturing that just because of the influence of this game, that classic Greek urn or carafe that has the art on it with the two handles. That's what I'm picturing. Like
I
those-
was
those-
picturing, and this isn't a Lithian thing. This is a Robbie thing. I just
Yeah.
immediately thought that everyone's ass was their pot.
Oh,
I'm
Not-
picturing a pot straight out of Ocarina of Time, just like
big
the
pots
brown
that
and green with
cannot
the
lie.
white rim.
you just throw it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Hearts come out.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
There's a
hearts and
fairy in this
rupees.
one. You throw the pot, a fairy comes out. You put the fairy in the bottle. You start to wonder why you just didn't take the pot. It already had
Yeah,
a fairy in it.
correct.
I actually have a real question to get us back to the game here.
Yeah.
And it's mostly just for the people watching, because like as an apostle of the gods, I
Of
obviously
course.
know.
Right. Of
obviously.
course. Yeah.
But what exactly is the process of on Rados? Obviously they've sparked, but normally, well, I guess not normally, but when we think of someone sparking, that means they're becoming or have the potential to become a god. So what exactly is the on Rado? And
So,
like what's
and
the
just to kind of,
expectations
yep.
here?
I'm gonna just real quickly for audience. Everyone knows Onrado in Callie's game as people who sparked but chose not to become gods.
Oh, so
and
you can
so
actually choose not
in-
to then. when that happens.
Normally in Callie's game, I played with the rules, but normally in Callie's game, you choose basically to not be a god, and you kind of become this very powerful mortal that can only
Sure,
live
sure.
for a couple of years. And in this world, because there is so much control over sparks,
Mhm.
Onrado are basically the product of accidental sparking. And the process of being an Onrado is to help cover up the process of accidental sparking, to keep those people from becoming gods, because only certain people are allowed to spark and become gods. And basically, as far as what the process would be, and Nereus would know this too, very much they are usually taken away, not necessarily from like everything they know, but they are usually separated out. It's not uncommon for one of the deities to sort of take watch over that Onrado. Think of it, they go to a monastery,
Mhm.
kind of an idea. It's
They
not
want
so
to be looked over so that they stay just an on radio and aren't sparked into a god.
And
cool.
in general, Onrados they're kind of what I would actually picture them in this setting with the Greek mythology is as prophets. They're kind of revered as these very powerful mortals to
That
go
was
to.
the vibe that I was getting here was very like prophet like, but since I'm not into like religion and mythology and stuff like that, I couldn't really draw more of a parallel than just.
Yes. Now
Is she a prophet in general, or is that just sort of
that's just how
her
she's coming off.
specific thing?
She
Okay.
does have a specific thing. Now, she is 6 years old. So
Right.
how she is verbalizing it is maybe not what
And-
an adult would look at it as. Go ahead.
Do on rados all generally sort of give off the same powers or vibes, and it's not until they spark, or sorry, that they would become gods that they have more of like a focus, or even as an Onrado,
Unrated
would-
still have focus.
still okay.
hmm They still
Yeah,
have
because
focus.
as I understand it, right, Sarah and Kelly, tell me, you go one way or the other. So once you go on Rado, you can't become a god again.
Correct.
You
Right.
just
Ah.
you've gone on Rado, so you have to make that choice
as the spark
at the
is happening.
spark.
Mhm.
The difference here, as I understand Elkana, is that we don't give them the choice. People either spark and rise to godhood in the festivals that we have when it's
Mhm.
sort of approved and all the senior gods have approved it and it's allowed to happen and they join the pantheon. And anybody that sparks outside of that system, this elite force shows up and does something that makes them have to choose to be an Onrado.
Correct.
Okay.
They don't get the choice. They have
So
to. And the other thing that
you
we know about
mention-
yeah.
When you mentioned that it's like somewhat controlled, does that mean that sparkings are predicted or are like seen through like divination in some way, so that like you can be there or be around the person before they have a chance to, so that you can intervene?
I see it as this, and I will admit that I haven't gone super nitty-gritty detail
Sure.
a little on this. Here's how I imagine it to be. There are these special forces called the Raidery everywhere. And because sparking is seen as such a professional thing, it's kind of hard for it to happen accidentally.
Right.
And when it's about to happen, there is sort of the Raidery have been trained to sort of sense it out, so
Okay,
to speak.
so someone wouldn't be able to, like, let's say, through a life of whatever, attempt to try to get themselves to spark and then go like hide out somewhere in a cave so I can spark and become a god. They would have a way to combat that
Yeah.
or like guard against that sort
And
of thing.
remember
happening.
too that sparking, and the Alcanans do know this, but this has also been kind of true in Callie's game, or at least what they used to think, very much is a result of kind of public court of opinion.
Right.
So
Right.
so sparking alone is really not
There,
possible.
there's a level of like,
Yeah,
faith in people that,
Yes.
or something like that. that has to do
perception
with it.
public perception heavily influences how someone will spark.
Mhm.
Even looking at when someone sparks into a dread demon, right?
Yes.
Well,
they-
who the fuck is this little girl that she has enough public perception to spark?
She makes good
That's
pots.
the question.
There's very some really great pots.
makes
There
fucking
was
kick-ass pots.
famously,
She's got a great
as-
Etsy shop going on.
Yeah.
Robbie, as you learned in the Scholarain game, there was the goddess of one, Lorelei, who sparked on the faith purely of her lover.
Yeah.
But that's
If-
probably not a regular
It
occurrence.
seems like people have to have the potential and then also whatever the catalyst is to make it
Mhm.
happen.
Yep.
I mean, we learned in Whispers, everyone has the potential.
Yes, to some degree, everybody has
Yes.
the potential.
But in here, I would say that's still, well, actually, no, the belief that everyone has the potential is agreed upon, but still that it would be very hard to do normally.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna go out to the parents
Um,
and
as you see, the mom is just mostly quiet as she's drinking, and the father
She's
stays.
drinking already? Damn.
No water.
Oh,
They got
okay.
water.
My bad.
And the father looks to you. How is she?
well, she is well. You'll be happy to know. She is not particularly disquieted by what's happened. She has a great deal of wisdom for somebody her age, and it's all come on very suddenly. She has, if anything, an incredible receptive acuity. She can see what burdens us, and in many ways our hopes, dreams, challenges. I haven't sussed out precisely what it is she can see manifesting, but in many ways she knows the goals and struggles that we all carry with us, metaphorically, or to her senses, literally.
The mom just kind of drops her head. We did this to her.
It is never that simple, and you shouldn't blame yourselves for something that can ultimately be a wonderful thing, though I know that that's very difficult to hear at this time.
Don't.
These... There is a reason that on Alcana we manage and control when an individual will spark into the Pantheon. And these more chaotic events can be disquieting, but they can also mean that she will bring a great deal of help and joy to people. But it is still my responsibility to inform you, and I'll get a chair and I'll sit down and look at both of them, that very, very soon we will need to take her to a monastery
They're
for her own
quiet.
safety.
But we can still see her, right?
Do I know, sir? Are they allowed to see
Yeah.
her? Yeah. Yes. Yes, you will. She will be taught and trained and taken care of by the assembly at the monastery, but she will not be inaccessible at all.
But she won't live for very long.
No. No, the lifespan of an Onrado is cut surprisingly short. I cannot give you an exact number, but I believe, how long is it? 10 years? 30 years?
No, it's less than that. So usually in the original Callie's game, it was like, what, less than 5?
The longest lived on, well, with one outlier, the longest lived on Rado made it about 5 years. There was
Okay.
one guy who they said made it 20 years, but a lot of experts argue about whether or not that's accurate.
And here in Alcana, because of Alcanans being what they
Yeah.
are, you would know it's more like less than 10.
Okay. So I cannot give you an exact time frame, but I can tell you that many do not make it past a decade after the time of their sparking.
The mom just covers her sobs with her hands as she just shakes her head, but the father nods. Well, maybe because she's young, that helps a little bit.
She certainly has a strong constitution and a powerful mind. I know that whatever amount of time the gods deign to give her, or any of us, that she'll make the most of them. For now, what I want you to do is, I am going to speak with the, what are the Secret
Raidiri.
Service? The Raidiri.
Secret
to say it.
Service.
The Secret Service, yeah, the Men in Black called. I'm going to speak to the Raidiri and see that if I stay here overnight, if they are willing to let you spend the night with her, and then we'll get your things packed and ready to move. All right?
He just nods and looks at the pieces. I suppose we should clean that up.
I'll get someone to come clean it up. I want to tell you, I know this is a great deal to take in. Your daughter is going to say things that may be confusing. She can now see things that you and I can't. And she understands the world in a way that is closer to how the gods understand it than you or I do. But the most important thing to remember is that she is still your daughter. And she loves you. Even when I was speaking to her, one of the key things she wanted to make sure of is that you would all be taken care of. She has a very big heart, and I certainly cannot tell you what to do, but my suggestion would be that once you're ready, I would go into that room with her and let her know that you love her too.
He nods stiffly at that, and the mom has mostly she's getting herself together, but she does stare kind of at the floor with a guilty expression as she nods as well.
I'm going to leave you be. I'm going to send someone up to sweep up the broken pottery. Would you like them to keep the pieces for you or dispose of them?
The mom speaks up. Please keep it.
Very well. I'll make sure that they do. And after that, we will leave you be. I will handle speaking with the Raidiri. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'll take my staff. I'll go out and close the door behind me. First, I'll speak to the wait staff and just ask them if they could get someone with a broom, sweep up the pottery, make sure to put it in a sack and keep it there for the family. They don't want it thrown out. And then I'll look for someone who looks like they're in charge of the Raidiri, and ask them if that overnight stay is going to be possible.
He kind of grimaces, but ultimately nods. Usually we don't like to wait. We want to make sure everyone is accounted for, and we know where the Onredo are, but I think in this case, she's not a flight risk.
No, and I think as long as you keep someone near the door so that you know when people are coming and going, shouldn't be an issue. But
Have you
I will
figured
make
out
sure
what
that I am.
she's Onredo of?
It is possible that she is something related to desires, or people's burdens, or their destiny. I know that is a large swath, but she sees that which sits most heavily on our minds, the goals we have, and how they weigh on us. They appear to her as great weights that we can share in many ways. For example, she shares the great weight of her parents' expectations for her. She can see that. So perhaps it's expectations. But I cannot as of yet say for sure.
Right. I will say obviously I don't know what it's like to spark or anything like that, but my understanding is that probably whatever feel you say that feels right to her, she will grasp onto.
I believe that. Well, then maybe it will be Potts. And he'll smile knowing that the guy has no idea what he's talking about. And,
I'm laughing. The guy doesn't laugh. He's very serious, but he just nods.
Men
I
in Black
will...
don't laugh.
Right, the men in black don't laugh. They,
Exactly.
I will be downstairs in the pub, and I intend to contact some of my associates that are in the area for their awareness.
Very well. Thank you.
Yes. I'll go down in the pub, and I will use our psychic link to shoot out a message to everybody that there is a 6-year-old Onredo that appeared in this tavern, and that is where I am, watching over the situation, and that I hope they're all having a good day.
Meanwhile, we're gonna go back just a little bit of time, just to kind of try to line these up as neatly as I can. Lithian and Saphira, at some point during your little... Actually, let me change the music. Give me 1 second. We're going to change it to... I'm just using songs from before, so we'll change it to this for now. Actually, no. I need something with a bit more punch to it. 1 sec. This will probably be fine. That works. Lithian and Saphira, I'm going to give each of you a chance to react if you want to. You do not have to. We'll see how much you like Rohirri. As each of you are having interesting conversations, there is a sudden loud boom. Lithian, it is loud enough to sort of rattle the walls here. Saphira, not so much, but it is loud.
Saphira glances out the window and looks at the girl who's been drawing her.
Psyche.
Psyche.
What was that?
I don't know, but I think I need to put my clothes back on.
Oh. I suppose apostles have apostle things to do.
Yes, perhaps I will see you again.
Oh! Well, tomorrow I am planning to head to the Empty Pillar to do some more sketches there. I suppose you wouldn't be able to disrobe there, but,
You'd be
No.
surprised.
But, well, I mean, first of all, yes, I could. Ain't no one gonna say anything. But she's like, I will see you there then.
Very well. It may not be very exciting, I have to say.
How could it not be?
You enjoy seeing people draw? This is very dark music for this. Hold on. Let's go back to this one. You don't mind seeing the drawing process?
I enjoy seeing you draw.
Make a persuasion check. You're finally learning. All right. This is the first time I think you've seen any kind of reaction. There's not really a blush. She just seems kind of, oh, okay. Well, then I will see you there.
She smiles.
Apostle Saphira of Lycilia.
Miss Psyche. And she enrobes quickly before hurrying off to go figure out what the hell that was.
All right, before we get to that, Lithian.
Yes. So before the explosion happens,
Yes.
I would make some more conversation with, was it
Fjord, and he's pretty
Fjord?
drunk.
Wait, sorry.
Fjord.
Fjord or Theord with a TH?
Fjord with a D.
All right. So, right. Obviously, he's really drunk too. So, Lithian would be trying to steer the conversation in a way. He doesn't want it to seem like he's prying into this one specific project just yet, even though I think he's got more than enough of the information.
Yeah.
So he would ask about more of the projects, talking in a way of like, I think that he would make Theord feel, smart, resourceful, very novel about the idea of like, you turned a weapon into like the water heater. What else have you done? Like, there's your true talent. Isn't just building stuff, but being able to take the interpretations of a god and being able to spread the usefulness of that across so many different industries, and just kind of like really get him talking up stuff like that, and then would steer the conversation.
Ever been proud of me.
And then would steer the conversation back towards this most recent thing, and kind of point out like it's weighing on you, and I know as someone who helps to sort of watch out for the well-being of all Elkanans, regardless of who it is that they pay their tribute to. You need to make sure that you're watching over yourself as well. And what I would like to try and do is convince him that he needs to take a little bit more time for himself, or at least needs someone to sort of help him keep track of like himself and his own well-being. And I would like to recommend basically someone of mine, someone that I would be able to keep tabs on, who could report back to me. Like, recommend someone to him, like, hey, I can hook you up with somebody who has absolute discretion. You wouldn't have to worry about this getting back to anybody in any way. Basically, like your own personal kind of like, assistant secretary that you would have could have 100% confidence in.
Interesting. Let me think. So, I am going to have you make some rolls because
Oh, yes.
the difficulty with what you are requesting is simply because normally Theord would only want to trust someone within his own god's group.
Sure.
And not that you may not necessarily be able to help finagle that, but likely someone who would be most wanting to respond to you would be of Hellenes. So, I want you to kind of consider, what approach do you want to try? Do you want to try to maybe pick somebody within Baratos' clergy that you may not have perfect control, but you've got a good relationship with possibly? Or do you want to go to a path of someone from Hellenes, which you know for sure they'll get back to you, but you need to do more to convince him to trust this person?
Can I ask, because I know that at least amongst some of the other gods that there is obvious There's obvious relationships there, not necessarily in fighting, but there are some gods that feel certain ways about other gods.
Oh yes. Oh, yes.
Does that extend to Helene as well, or because she's seen as like the first or like the sort of like mother figure or whatnot, is she a little bit more like amenable to some of the other the perceptions of some of the other gods
Yeah,
because of that?
I would say out of all of the first rings, she is the most amenable. Here
Mhm.
is something that is working in your favor.
Mhm.
She, what after her were Kethik, Devra, and Baratos, because it was the four of them in the war with the
Mhm.
devils. So that is working in your favor here. If you're looking, yeah. go
Here's
ahead.
how I'd like to frame it, because I do want to get someone from
Oops.
Helene in there as well.
Yes.
So I would like to frame it as he can see that everyone working under Baratos is under a lot of pressure, more so than he even realized, given what they have to do. So Lithian is being very empathetic here. And when he suggests someone that he knows that could help, he suggests someone from Helene as opposed to Baratos, because Helene, like a mother to all of us, understands as well. Someone else under Baratos is going to be under the same amounts of pressure as what Theord is, and they need someone who is going to understand what they're going through and is going to be able to help provide relief, but not strain under the same expectations that someone from Baratos would.
I want you to make 2 rolls, and I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. You're going to do an insight check and a persuasion check. The insight check is to show how empathetic and how it seems like on your side you're being, which I know is kind of an unusual use of the insight check, but that's how we use it.
No, I think that's fine. That's
Persuasion
good.
is the basic persuasion to persuade him that this is the right route to go.
Okay. So I get advantage on insight.
You do. And I will let you know, if your insight is high enough but your persuasion is not, that doesn't mean you failed the persuasion. It just might mean it's going to take more time to convince him to go around, just so
Yep.
you know.
So I rolled 2 17s, which makes it a 28, and I probably don't have to, but I'm going to throw a psi bolster on there anyway, which makes it a 36 for insight.
All right. I know,
and
Cole.
then I will use my inspiration that I got at the start of the session to get advantage on persuasion. And that will be a 26 and a psi bolster just for the hell of it for a 31 on persuasion.
Well, not much you can do with the 30s, right? So yes, congratulations. He, with your 36 in insight, wowzer, he definitely, I would say, Theord is at his max trust with you right now, as it can be. And with that 31 persuasion, because you're showing this amount of concern for him and his health, and you have also somewhat successfully veered him away from his comrades, not through saying that he can't trust them, but through saying, well, they're under so much too, you should look outside, perhaps. He has become very amenable to this idea of somebody that you would choose. For the sake of simplicity, you would probably... do you have someone in mind, or do you want me to describe who I think you would choose for this role?
If you have an NPC like already made who would work in this, great. I was thinking that if you didn't, we just come up with an NPC after the fact, but by all means, please.
We can, after the fact, if you would like. I was going to say either we can come up with someone if there's a kind of particular like history you'd like to have for this person, or I could argue your mentor ex-apostle could work here. The priest of pestilence, because he can work a little bit.
No, well, I think we want to come up with
Okay.
with an original character.
That's totally fine. Likely, this original character would be someone who is a priest of. There's a term for this. Think of like environmental studies, like knowing if if this particular environment is good for these kinds of growth, if that makes sense. I'm sure there's a term for that. I can't think of it. But that's who I think could be a good fit because it's kind of a very empathetic sort
Like
of
an ecologist, kind of.
maybe, but more specific of like, is this environment good for raising,
Right.
this kind of thing. That's just an idea,
Yeah.
but we can talk more about it.
Mhm. Thank you.
We don't need to slam it down right now. 36 insight, Lothian seeing past the veil of the universe.
There's a puppet, and I'm just pulling the strings.
All right. Very good. Was there something else with that conversation? And by the way, regardless, you are going to have time to go back to Theor tomorrow, regardless of what you decide to do for Rohirri tonight, just so you know.
Yep. Yeah. So nope. That's fine. I think probably shortly after that, I hear the boom. Is there anything that you would allow me to roll to get an inclination of who or what that might have been related to?
Perception or investigation.
Let's do investigation.
That works.
Ew, it's only a +4. But I do have advantage on it. 21.
Yeah, so clearly it came from Kethic's district.
So I think as that happens and I kind of realize where it is, I'm going to go, Rohirri, dear, are you good?
I'm not bad.
I'm on my way. And Lithian will head in that direction.
This is the music I had from you were blowing shit up last time. I don't think I actually played it. Rohirri, and Nereus, I do want to warn you, once we wrap this up, I'm going to then have Nereus's thing go off. I just want to make Rohirri's wrap up here for now, just so you know. I meant your message.
My thing go off.
I meant your message that you
Your
said.
message to
all right.
everyone, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Rohirri, so, if I recall correctly, you rolled high enough to be able to sort of escape within the commotion. Very, very quickly, General Guards of Sul Alkana, which are not necessarily affiliated with any First Ring specifically, are swarming the place. What's your plan?
Can I see the city map again real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't put you guys all there. 1 second, please. All right, everybody see it?
I will once it loads. I currently just have a mess of very pixelated map.
Oh. Did it load on yours? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's there now.
Okay, cool.
So-
Gotcha.
Roughly, this building is the, like, Kethic.
Yep.
So I'm assuming the guards are more or less coming from everywhere that isn't the river.
Yep.
Well, that leaves me an obvious direction to go.
Where are you gonna go?
The river.
The river.
I know, but like where once you get to the river?
What's the rule for how long you can hold your breath?
Is it con or something?
I think
by
it's 1 minute and then an additional minute
Per your con modifier.
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna swim my way downriver towards Saphira.
So you're gonna be rolling athletics. And
Oh, I
I'm
guess
gonna be...
actually, I guess Lithian is closer, so I'll probably actually go in that direction.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
I
so
need
they'll coordinate. So Lithian will be waiting wherever it is that Rohirri is coming out of the water.
I need you to make an athletics check.
19?
All right. I would say that with the 19, nobody sees you, but I will say that they probably do hear a splash. That being stated, you are going towards Lithian, and I'm going to give Lithian an opportunity to help you out here.
Oh, good.
Lithian, how will you help out Rohirri or doom her? Or help her to your own ends?
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Maybe I should have gone towards Saphira.
Maybe you should have.
Maybe you should.
Maybe my gut instinct was right on that one.
I would have had you make more rolls though. So
In what is the proximity between Baratos's area or any of his people compared to where this happened?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So
You're like,
you are the closest to Kethik besides besides whoever's on the other side. I think it's Esterin and Athal on the other side. I didn't quite map it out too well, but Baratos and Kethik definitely are neighbors. So I would say that you can hear guards approaching. That doesn't mean Baratos area isn't safe, but you may need to be more careful to know where to go, if that makes sense. If you want to try to go
So-
to a farther place, you can. You'll just run the risk of.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Being near Baratos is what I need.
Okay.
I would like to track down, or hold on, let me see if my psychic thing requires. I'm sure it does. Requires that I be able to see someone before I establish a connection. Sorry, one moment.
No worries.
Class features. Where you expertise, sneak attack, thieves can't, cunning action. Sonic power. There it is. Sonic whispers. Yep. Okay. So I need to waste that right now. So I will seek out some of the guards who are moving. Obviously, introduce myself.
Yes.
Whether they recognize me or not as, Lithian of Helene, and ask who is in charge.
They'll point you to essentially a head guard position. A woman named Loraz. I can't think of names today.
No
Loraz.
problem. So he would go to her, mention that he was in the area, heard the explosion.
Lithian of Helene.
What is going on? What details do you have for me?
Somebody decided that it would be fun to blow up the side of a wall of Archbishop Duskleys of Kethik. The Archbishop is trying to tell us that the matter could be taken care of, but we can't take. We have to take these matters very seriously. That people could get hurt.
Yes, they could. Look into the cleanup. Make sure that there are none that are wounded, but the cause of this will be dealt with internally. You know how both Kethik and Baratos can be when showing off their gifts.
You think this is Baratos, someone of Baratos doing?
I believe that as an apostle, I have more information that you don't necessarily need. So take my word for it that it will be dealt with.
I love how you basically just pulled the, I'm the FBI, this case is mine now, to the local cops.
I mean,
because of that, she doesn't
Are
look...
you saying that Lithian's the vulture?
Because of that, she looks very displeased, but she cannot really speak too much against you at this moment. If you try
does
to put...
she have any iconography on her that would suggest if she has a sort of prime deity that she
Interesting
worships?
question. I think you're going to... Ooh, that's a very interesting... So, it's clear she's not like a priest for anybody
Of
because
course.
she works
Yep.
for Sul Alcana.
Mhm.
I would say, however, her colors depict more of Devra, which is the goddess of strategy.
Mhm.
The one that also kind of has like a brother-sister vibe with Kethik.
So if I feel like with a passive 21 insight, I would be able to pick up on her displeasure here.
Yeah.
So he puts a hand on her shoulder and goes, "The service that you are providing to the citizens here is important. Making sure that they are safe and that the debris is cleaned up is your number one concern. But I will be sure to pass on to those above, including Devra, that your assistance here was instrumental."
All right, Scorpion. I'm just teasing. she it's an L5R joke. She does straighten up a little about that. And she's a little caught off guard, but nods. Very well. We're just gonna close off the perimeter and make sure no one else is hurt.
Excellent. He nods and turns to leave
All right.
to go meet up with Rohirri.
So, I think for sake of ease, we're gonna have you guys meet up more closer to sort of the cemetery area,
Mm-hmm.
kind of away from the mess a little bit.
Yeah.
However, it would probably be in people's best interest to get a little farther away. But you have options of where to go, and I will have you guys discuss that.
I think, like, right after she pops out of the river, Rohirri's going to use, what's the ability on the Warhammer? Oh, the Flame Whirlwind to dry herself off so she doesn't look like she'd just been swimming through a river.
I feel like I should tell you that is not a good use of that because you're gonna just light things on fire, but all right.
After getting done cleaning up this mess, a plume of fire goes up in the air, and Lithian's
exactly.
like, "Oh,
Okay.
Eleni,
It's not that
I'm
big.
working overtime today."
It's not that big. And I'm assuming the building is stone.
Not the grass. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's fine. I think you
I'm not-
actually,
I was
you
saying,
all
I don't
have-
think it,
You all
it
have
necess-
prestidigitation. You're fine. You have
Yeah,
prestidigitation.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that would work better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
realized I
don't
had
think that meeting that we need to meet up anywhere specific. In fact, maybe as we're going to meet each other is when we get the Nereus's message. But I don't think that Lithian would say much about what just happened. He might make a snide offhanded comment about how it's a nice day for a swim. But otherwise,
Rohirri, I will tell you that you do get a sending message.
Oh boy.
It is Duskly's voice, and he's just going to say, "Meet me in my quarters tomorrow. I trust you'll know where to find it."
I think it takes all of Rohirri's restraint not to say something along the lines of, "Oh, behind the giant hole."
That may make your case worse for you, but I will
Yeah.
let you decide how you want to.
No, I think she has enough restraint not to just blurt that one.
Do you send anything back?
Would I normally?
Confirmation that you heard, probably.
Yeah, that's probably about all he'll get then.
Okay.
as you say, literally replies with a thumbs up. Heard.
Yeah. Red. Listened, I guess. Saphir, was there anything you wanted to do with these two before I have Nereus's message? Okay. And then we come back to Nereus. Your psychic message goes out. So you are all told to meet at the Classy Cornucopia to help
And-
with.
You mentioned in the message that it was an on Rado situation, right,
I believe so.
Nereus?
Sorry, mute button. Yes, I did mention it was on Rado. Yes.
All right. Yep.
Oh, delightful and on Rado. She glances over at Rohirri. So, a terrorist attack on the Kethik Bastion and an Onrado. What an eventful day.
I mean, one much more notable than the other.
True. I just you look so broken up over it. I imagine must be very hard to see one of your bastions attacked.
Local authorities seem to think that it may have something to do with a Baratos experiment gone wrong.
Well,
Must have been quite an experiment then.
how delightful.
Indeed.
Well, shall we go welcome our new Onrado? Wonder what they'll be on radio of.
All right, so you all
Please be the on radio of sweet treats. Please be the on radio of sweet treats.
you all walk through. It's getting dark out pretty quickly now, and the sun has set. It's probably think like 7 or 8 o'clock. And you go through the Agora district, past the gross borderlines people, and cross the bridge into the classy cornucopia. Normally this place is pretty bustling, being pretty much the founding tavern of all of Volcana. But today it's actually a little bit quieter, and it's easy to see why. Raidery guards are kind of posted around near the door. They're letting people come in or anything like that, but they're just keeping an eye to make sure certain people don't leave. And basically, most patrons have been encouraged to sort of finish their meals and turn in for the night. And otherwise, most people are kind of getting the message of maybe not partying here right now. But you are all open and welcomed quite easily, where Nereus has a table. And are you drinking anything, Nereus, besides water?
Do they have anything like ouzo or sipuro or any other traditional after-dinner Greek drink?
Of course they do. Pick your poison.
All right, I'll have the Ankanan equivalent of ouzo.
All right, it is just called Uzzo, and it is served to you.
It's called ouzo.
Uzzo.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm enjoying a very small cup of ouzo and drinking it after. I'm old, so I had a very small meal for dinner.
Of course.
And early.
Yeah, it was just olives and cheese.
So as we get there, Saphira will make her way over. So, a new on Rado. How exciting.
Yes, it was an interesting experience, particularly for the family. She will be making the migration on the morrow.
Okay. Sounds like you've got it pretty well in hand, and I see the Raidery are here. Why are we here?
Well, she's 6 years old, and I'm wondering if she can help us.
6?
Yes.
That's not possible.
Apparently
no
it
one
is.
Sparks at 6.
Not only did she spark at 6, but from what I can tell, the majority of the push for the sparking to happen came from nothing more than the expectations of her parents. Whatever potential she had must have been extremely high in order for this to occur. I don't know if that is a result of things that are going on, or if her new powers could be of potential use to us.
Whoa, so wait, she's 6 and they're still going to turn her into an Onrado?
She's already,
already
on Rado.
Too late. She's to go to the monastery tomorrow. And even that required me to make some requests on behalf of the grieving family.
How is it that you think she can aid in our endeavors?
Her powers are... they lie in perception, as far as I can tell. She can see either the tasks or goals or dreams we carry with ourselves, or the burdens, or maybe those are the same thing. She personifies them as pots, as heavy drinking vessels that we carry on our backs, so to speak. Of varying size, apparently, depending on how much, metaphorically, they weigh down on us. At least that's what I've been able to infer so far. But it seems to be tied up in concepts of fate, or even, destiny. She is, of course, as an Onrado, to be a sort of oracle, or prophetess. And she was able to suss me out immediately. It took no time for her at all to discover the greatest question that has weighed on my mind for the majority of my life.
Told you, Nereus, a duck is a duck.
Yes, well, she didn't give me the answer, unfortunately. She just knew what it was. And, well, her powers don't seem to extend into the immediate present, or if they do, she is limited in her understanding of how to perceive them. But she certainly seems to be able to identify things in the future. She is confident, though this could simply be the idealism of a small child, that people will succeed at achieving their goals, these weights, getting them off them and stuff. My question is, does she see anyone who doesn't? And can that guide us?
Excuse me one moment. And she steps away. You can keep talking though.
If it is expectations that she sees, that seems like a very personal and specific detail of one's lives. How do you see that helping us? We have a collective goal in mind.
I am wondering if she can give us any insight on either how we find out about these creatures we are going up against.
She's
Or-
6 years old.
Yes, 6.
You think that she'll be able to interpret anything in a useful manner for us?
I don't know. Like I said, she was able to identify my question rather readily, and I don't know if interpret is even the concern. She sees things as they are. When she looked to me and identified the question that has weighed on my mind, she did not give the answer for it, nor an interpretation of it. She began to, before I stopped her, simply recite it.
So you're
I-
saying we let her see what she sees and we interpret.
Exactly. I think we would have to either way. But I wanted to bring everyone in it because there is also the part of me that thinks that burdening a child with any of this responsibility is in and of itself irresponsible.
To that end, Saphira has gone over to the raidery captain.
Okay. Yes.
She approaches. You turned a 6-year-old into an Onrado? Have you lost your mind?
He looks confused. She was sparking.
She's a child. You've condemned her to never see adulthood.
We can't make her into a deity. I don't understand the concern.
What do you mean you don't understand the concern? She's a child.
I know. And she sparked.
So let her spark.
And let her become a deity? Are you mad? That's not how things work. Who would have ordained her to become a deity at 6 years old? No
we,
first-ring deity would endorse such a thing.
we have no rules for what to do when someone is a 6-year-old. This isn't supposed to happen, but you don't condemn her to death.
We can't condemn her to be part of the rings either. Not without permission of... Would Lycilia allow a 6-year-old deity to be walking around?
She kind of catches herself at that.
It's a tragedy, I agree with you. But there's no other choice. Either that or we kill her.
There is a choice. You made one.
What would you have done?
Clearly not what you did.
But you are not giving an answer. There are set rules we have here,
There
Apostle Saphira.
set rules. Yeah. No. The rules were not written with this in mind.
Yes, I understand that, but we have a responsibility that when someone sparks without the ordination of a first-ring deity, they become Onrado.
What's your name and your rank?
He bristles at that, but did I give a name earlier? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did.
I don't think so.
All right, this is Yaskir.
She nods. I'll remember that. Dismissed.
He just kind of rolls his eyes and keeps doing what he's doing.
She heads back over to you, looking pissed off.
So, what do we think? Do we think this child could be of any help, or do we think it needless distraction?
I don't think that we need to worry about putting any undue stress or pressure on her if you simply want to ask her some questions and then interpret those answers for yourself. She need not know what it is that she is answering. If
That's
she
fair.
sees expectations as pots, ask her questions. She can tell you what shape, size, fragility they have. Puts a glance towards Saphira with that word.
Saphira clearly isn't in the mood for that right now, as she just glares back at you.
What is going through Saphira's head?
Maybe some unresolved issues with, at a young age, being told what you're going to be and having someone else decide your life for you.
I think your glowering just confirms his accusation.
Well, I have an excuse. I've spent my time here making her a pair of sandals, so we can give her those. It is a
What is
long
the
walk to the
temperament of
monastery.
what is the temperament of the parents?
Grief. They are grieving. I had to tell them that their child would die in a decade or less. And they feel that it's their fault. And while I certainly would not agree with the statement of fault, it is rather clear from the young girl's statements that it was their hopes that precipitated this sparking.
It shouldn't be possible.
I would agree. In someone so young and with seemingly so little push, I have no doubt that her parents' desires were incredibly strong. And
That's still only the desires of two people.
Right. If this is possible in someone that young on that little, we have to redesign everything. Nothing about the way our system works can function if this is the case.
was not built for children. There is no question there.
We need to talk to her.
Go and speak with the girl. I will have a talk with the parents.
Good. I will make sure that they're good to see us. So I'll go up to the door and I'll knock on the door of the room.
It's opened. It's opened by one of the. I think you hear a pause. I think you're hearing just some confirmations before it opens, and the raidery sees you, and then seems to let the parents know who it is, and then the door opens fully. You think that raidery are trying to be polite to make sure they were one
Yeah,
of the same
of course.
company.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes.
If you want to introduce everybody, the parents will.
Some of
listen to
my associates are here. I have Saphira, Rahiri, and I almost said Lycilia.
I am
Lithian.
Saphira of Lycilia.
Yeah,
Right,
Lithian.
Saphira, Lithian, thank you.
Of,
And
of
Lithian.
Helene.
Of
Lithian
Helene.
adds on to the end.
Apostles all. We are, well, let me first ask, have you all had dinner yet?
We've attempted to eat.
Certainly. Well, I know that Lithian here was hoping to speak with you, and perhaps you could enjoy a small meal with him if you would allow me and Saphira and Rahiri here to speak to Kiri.
Right, yes. She's, as she has been, she ate some as well. It seems that her appetite has adapted. We've been told that's not unusual for Onredo.
It's not. She will be sustained primarily by the power that dwells within her. But I'm sure she'll still enjoy the occasional treat. Does she like grapes?
She loves them. She
It didn't come
especially
through. Yeah.
Sorry, she loves them. She especially, this is the mom.
Yeah.
Especially when they're coated in sugar.
Wonderful. I'll look for a servant in the hall and just ask them if they get us some sugar, a bowl of sugar and some grapes.
It is done.
Right. So if you would be willing, to
Yeah. Where do you want to take? Do you want to stay here with them, Lithian, or do you want to go downstairs? It's up to you.
He will stay here with the parents.
Okay, that's fine.
then we'll see Kiri in her room.
Let's do the parents first with Lithian.
Sure.
So Lithian, you see that the father is kind of sitting at sort of the table, while the mother is at the small couch. Mother is a complete mess. It's obvious she's been crying for a long time. She seems to have sort of calmed down a little bit, but you do see that she's pretty distraught. You had heard, I think Nereus had mentioned something about a pot, and you do see on the table there seems to be a small kind of bag of something in it. And the father kind of looks to you. You're the apostle for Helene?
I am. I'm going to go down and sit across from the wife and then motion next to her for her husband to join her.
He nods and goes to sit next to her and tries to kind of rub her back. She's kind of looking at you, but not quite meeting your eyes as they look to you.
I can understand how difficult this must be for you. I was in Kiri's position when I was younger.
What do you mean?
I was taken from my family.
Ah,
What is it that worries you most? What are you most concerned about? What is your primary worry for your daughter? Is
they
it
glance. Oh, go ahead.
her happiness, her safety, longevity?
They glance at each other before looking back, and the father speaks. She's our only child, and
Right.
she will not outlive
What
us.
is your worry for her? Think of your daughter in this moment, not the fear that you have, not the desires that you have, not your wants. Think about her.
They're
I understand that as a parent, you spend your whole life worrying for them. The future is uncertain for many of us. Sicknesses, having the money to afford what you need, finding partners, love, jobs. What's happened to Kiri has solidified what her future is now. She will never want for anything. She has nothing to fear. She will be protected. She'll be taken care of. And she has the opportunity now to leave a mark on the world, to change it for the better, to protect, to perhaps even save countless lives, to influence the lives of all those on Alcana. Will it be shorter than it may have been otherwise? Perhaps. But if a life is just about length, then yes, you have something to grieve. But if it is substance that is important to you, knowing that your daughter is going to be remembered and change the lives of those around her, then all you have here is is a means to be thankful. Because there are very, very few that get chances like this.
I just want her to have a choice, the mom finally exclaims out, before sniffling, and the father is rubbing her back, and she composes herself for a moment. We only did this stupid contest because we thought it'd give our family a choice. And now
Contest.
Athala was running an art contest for potteries, for possible priesthood. Anybody of any age could look into it, and our daughter is very talented.
And she wanted to do this contest?
Well, she loves making pots. She
Your
always
daughter
has.
wanted to be a priest?
Well, she
It's a
does.
yes or no question.
They falter a bit, and the father speaks. When we mentioned the contest, she was excited at the possibility.
Of becoming a priest or entering into a contest?
There is clearly a guilty look. As
So it's
they look
not
away.
about her making a choice, is it?
We thought it'd be the one way to help her. We haven't had much for her growing up, and she had this skill. Nothing we've done has been able to give her a childhood she deserves.
And you think that her becoming a priest would have given her that childhood?
I don't know.
Question for the DM.
Yes.
If their daughter would have become or been chosen to become a priest at a young age, would this have set them up financially?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. At the very least, I'm not going to say priests make millions. Like, we're not talking about that. But for sure, like this,
Right.
and you can tell by looking at this family, there's no role needed. This is an impoverished family.
Mhm.
They have probably come from a very, if not the borderlines from here, then probably somewhere very rural and not much going for them.
Yep.
And while priesthood, doesn't necessarily mean like they will never have troubles again, it would have
It would have
lifted-
elevated their station.
Absolutely.
You need not say any more. Kiri is going to be looked after. She is going to make a mark on this world. And you, as her family, will not be left behind or forgotten. I will make sure that you have a place in, if I were to take them, like if I wanted to take them to, not like to Helena to not necessarily see her, but I want them close so that we can figure out what exactly happened, so that word of how they sparked their daughter doesn't get out. Like, we want to, contain the situation. Would that be taking them to, I forget the name of the place that I was at when I talked to Helena, but essentially I want to offer them, like, tomorrow we will take you and your daughter to some place to figure out what goes next, essentially.
Yeah, I think, quite honestly, for right now, you probably could take her to Helene's quarters in the Divine Parish here.
Yep.
The thing is that, so basically, you would know this. As
Mhm.
Onredo, she's probably going to be stationed here until basically one of the deities take her. It's clear.
How
it
does
actually
that
doesn't-
process
Yeah.
normally happen? Like, who gets to claim her or take her? Or
Yeah,
whatnot?
it's often kind of based on where it happens,
Mhm.
and kind of because it doesn't have to be a first ring deity that takes them
Sure.
over. Certainly for certain powers, the first ring deities might say, "Yoink, you're mine." In this case, however, given your station, it would not be weird at all for you to go to like the Archbishop of Helena
Mhm.
that's in this city and be like, "We should take this on Rado."
Yes, I
and
think that is his intention, since
absolutely
this
would
is
be-
such an odd and obviously very important thing that has happened. He would want Helena to be able to have first dibs, essentially.
Yes, and that for sure, like, you could absolutely do that. They would probably still stay in Sul Alcana for a bit, but
Sure,
you
yep.
absolutely, like, you could house these two, like, within Helene's quarters in the Divine Parish for now, and potentially they would move to Ter Helene.
Yes, so that's what I'm not going to. I don't want to give them the choice, but he's going to sort of say it in a way like this is what we're going to do as the next steps, basically.
Yeah. They nod. They get it. You're making it sound like it's the best choice for them, and they nod, and the husband will say, my grandfather was a follower of. I'm sorry, no, he wouldn't say that. He'd say my father was a follower of Helene, so I suppose it's only right.
The seasons change, and so too do our lives. Be there for each other now, and for the rest of your daughter's bright and meaningful life, you can be there for her as well. But this is about her, not you. Remember
there is-
that.
There is a very clear, guilty expression on both their faces, and they don't quite meet your eyes, but they nod.
Alright.
Let's move into the girl. So, I want to find a more magic-y sounding song. Give me a sec here. How about... Let's see. Let's do this one. I'm just looking at past music I've used and going from there. That works. So, Neri, Saphir, and Rohirri, you go into this very small bedroom, and you see Kiri. She is, as I described earlier, doesn't seem to have changed. I think the only thing is that she has that cup of water, which she did finish, and she was given some food earlier, but very much it looks like she kind of tried each of the foods. And not like she doesn't like it, but more like she didn't have much of an appetite. Oh, you brought friends.
I
Oh.
did.
Oh man, she looks to you, Saphira. Oh man, oh you got a pot, and you. She looks to Rohirri, and her eyes get really big. Whoa, it's on fire!
It's on fire. Yes.
Oh,
Rohirri, your pot is on fire.
oh, the pot's small, but everything's on fire around it. It's all big.
You have a small pot that's on fire.
I feel like Rohirri, like, she was prepared for a lot of things walking into this room. That was not one of them.
Wait, I have a question for Rohirri. Are you glad your pot is small? Because, like, I don't know if I would feel disappointed or not.
I'd definitely be like, it's probably an average pot. This kid's underselling.
It's very
I've heard
cold in
this.
here.
Yeah, it's cold. I just got out of the pool, so my pot looks smaller than normal.
Saphira's gonna walk over towards her.
Hi, pretty lady.
Hello, Kiri. My name is Saphira.
Lycilia.
Yes, that's correct.
Your pot's real pretty.
Thank you. What does it look like?
Oh, it's like, it's got a bunch of people on it, and they're all dancing. And it's made with like really good glaze. There's this really good glaze you can get that makes it super shiny. It's real expensive, so I don't get to always use it, but it makes it super shiny. And then there's a lot of colors, and it's getting kind of cracked though.
You say it's getting kind of cracked?
Neri's gonna
Sarah.
wince at that.
Quick
Damn.
Yeah, what's your question?
question. Would it be fair to say Rohirri probably always has, like, drawing materials on her?
Yeah, that's fine.
I think she's gonna, like, as Kiri is describing it, I think she's gonna try to, like, draw what she's describing.
But Saphira, you don't have a lot of like your pot's like heavy, but it's not like as bright as hers. And points to Rohirri.
Now I wish Lithia
Is that
came
because
here.
it's on fire, or?
No, yours is on fire. But
Yeah.
Right.
like,
But
but-
you said hers isn't as bright. Is mine brighter because it's on fire, or?
yeah.
Okay.
My pot's
Ouch.
cracking.
I'm sure that just adds character
And
to
and
it.
it, and
Saphira.
it and
It
it's
does.
heavy. She's definitely talking about your ass.
Yes.
Um,
I've been cleaning up plates and putting sugar on grapes, and I'm just like,
yeah, anyone who looks over sees Saphira's soul leave her body for a moment as she's just like,
I'm gonna pop a grape on it.
The power of an Onrado.
How
Delicious.
How
Oh.
come, Saphira, the person you
You
want
want-
things that the person doesn't want? They can't want those things.
I'm sorry?
You have a person that you want to want things that they can't want.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a conversation I don't want to have with a 6-year-old.
But you're gonna get it. I believe
well,
in you. You're gonna get. I think so. You should not stop trying, but maybe try a different way, cause she doesn't want that.
well that
I
that's a
believe
lot
in
to
you.
unpack, and we don't entirely have time to go over enthusiastic consent. But what we're going to do is, would you like some sugar-covered grapes?
Yes.
All right. Well, here you go.
And she gets really excited and just grabs it, and
Right.
she pops them in her mouth, and she just is like,
I look
I
back at the
was-
other two. I look back at the other two. I was going to let her sugar the grapes, and then I thought that was probably a bad idea, so I did it.
Good call.
I made the
Probably
right
right.
choice, I think.
I'm so
So, yeah.
glad that these taste good.
So, Kiri,
Yeah.
can you tell me when the bright light happened?
Uh-huh. Oh, you mean my bright light?
Yeah, your bright light.
Okay.
When the room got really bright.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about when that happened?
Oh. Okay. What was I thinking about? Well, I was trying to move my pot. I made a really pretty pot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to move it, and Mom and Dad were talking about stuff, and I was trying to move it, and I was like, don't drop it. This is a real important pot. You can't drop it. And then I dropped it, and then it got real bright.
I see.
Right.
And when this happened, did you... Sometimes when we hear about, other people who've experienced the bright light, they say that they can feel things from other people around them.
Uh-huh.
Did you experience that?
Like right now?
Well, when it first happened, when you were first changing.
I felt like Mom and Dad, they really want me to win this contest, and I thought I'm gonna win this contest. Although I guess that's not gonna happen now.
Well,
But that's okay. They're gonna be okay anyway.
they are going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so are you.
Yeah. I'm gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay too, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to know that. So you like to make pots?
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to be when you grew up, a potter?
I think so. I mean, I just really like doing them. And Mom and Dad were like, you should make more. And I was like, yeah, I should make more. And so I made a lot more. And then some of them didn't come out right. But I was like, I want to keep making them because I just really like making them.
Well, that's how you learn.
Yeah. And I knew I was gonna make something real good someday. And then I made something, and Mom and Dad were like, whoa! And then they were like, there's this contest from Athala, and I bet if you put it in, it would win. And I was like, man, I bet it would win. And so then we came up here.
I see. And you wanted to, when you entered into that contest, were you hoping that everyone would get to see your pot?
Yeah, I was hoping we would get to see the pot, and I was hoping that Mom and Dad would be happy, and I was hoping that maybe I would win, and so then I was hoping that Mom and Dad would be okay, and that we could keep hoping, you know? For big things.
Hope is a powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah! I hear it everywhere. Yeah! I hear it everywhere!
That is good. Well,
Yeah, this one, she points to Rahiri. Once, you did it! You made it so big, explosion! I bet you were hoping it would be real big, and it was so big!
really, Rohiri.
She knows too much.
Wow,
She wants to make a bigger one, though.
a
That's-
bigger one.
That's why your pot's on fire!
Don't need a prophet to know that.
I think actually I do have something for Rohiri to try.
Okay.
Rohiri is going to, instead of speaking Elkanan, speak Celestial and just ask her, "Do you understand me?"
I guess she would, right? At this point? Okay. Whoa! She says in Celestial, which is more like, whoa!
So I think Rohiri is kind of banking on, like, language. Certain languages, like, there's way to express things that other languages don't
Right.
have.
I see. Okay, yep.
And so, tell me about the pots.
The pots. Okay. Everybody has pots. And they all look different. And they're all different sizes and different weights and different lights.
You said that for some pots you could see people holding them up together, right?
Yeah!
Is there a pot that you see me and my friends all holding up together? Do you see that pot?
She blinks. Kind of like imagine somebody like changing like something on like a telescope setting, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
She blinks and she goes, "Wow, yeah, that's a really heavy pot."
That's
Oh,
the
ink.
question we're trying to figure out. Yeah.
Huh. Somebody
It's all what? What does it look like?
Well, it's just like full of like inky black. Oh.
Yeah.
She thinks, and she gets a very far away look in her eyes. Well, somebody else has got that pot too. I think he's a friend of yours. He real smart.
Not
is he-
Lithian then.
Oh,
Does he-
here, but bitch.
Is he talking to your parents right now?
No, he's super far away.
I see. And he's a friend of ours and very smart.
Yeah. You can make an insight check if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
and-
have
and-
any
I would
smart
like-
friends.
Everybody can.
I
the
would
DC's
like to
not-
insight the shit out of
D-
that.
DC's
Well,
not high.
I rolled a 1 and I
24.
got a 2, so I think that it's Saphira.
Rohiri, clearly, she must be talking about Everine, apostle of Estrin, god of education.
I see, and that's why, because she's looking into this too.
He is looking.
That
this-
makes sense. He is. Oh, Everine is a
Everine.
man.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I misgendered you, Everine. You're not here, but I apologize anyway.
It's all good. Gender is a construct after all.
Thank you,
Marius.
Everine.
Uh,
Go back to your books, please. Nobody asked. So, no. So he. All right. So, yeah, we're wondering with that big heavy pot with the black ink inside.
Yeah.
We're trying to find that question. Is there, besides the smart person that you saw,
Yeah.
is there anybody else tied to that pot?
She is thinking, and it's a long while. So, you got
He,
it.
he's gonna lean back to Saphira and Rohirrim and go, if we had a sample of the creature, we might be able to know what its hopes are. But nobody has a sample,
Question.
and no one ever told us if they had a sample. So
Yes, Lithian.
there's no way to know.
Question. Since we are still connected via
Telepath.
telepathic link, can I still also sort of be in on this?
Yeah, I can tell you what's going on. I'm happy to tell you what's going on while we're doing it.
If you want to interrupt with something, Lithian, you can.
Then I would also suggest to Nereus that he ask that question in a different way. what is the pot made of? How was that pot made? What materials, maybe, if she can see those types of details?
Sure.
I feel like Rohiri would probably already be like asking that because she's trying to draw it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So we're gonna ask all this in Celestial to Rohiri's idea, and we all speak it, so that works. I think we all speak it, right? Yeah. So Rohiri's been asking about the construction of the pot and its design, so she can draw it, and then I've been asking about if anybody else is linked to the pot.
So, the pot's got a lot of handles to it. Probably because you guys have to all carry it. That makes sense. But it's like pure white, and all the inky stuff keeps kind of staining it.
You're white. Interesting.
Can
Does
she
it shine?
see where the materials were gathered from to make it?
Yeah, do you know how the pot was made?
Well, I mean, it would have. It feels like it was. It was made by your deities. You know.
Deities made the pot.
Well, because they gave you the pot.
Yes. What about what's in the pot? That black inkiness. Are there any other pots full of that?
So there's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy near here. He's also on fire. He's got a pot like that. And
On fire. Wonder if that's the guy from the forge.
it's Baratos.
Baratos, I was gonna say, yeah.
Baratos. Okay.
And let's see. I see a couple others that are your friends. They also are kind of carrying it, but they're kind of not carrying it right now.
Oh, I'd agree with that. They rarely contribute equally. What about so that black inkiness that's in the pot?
Mm-hmm.
This is a strange question, so tell me if it doesn't make sense, okay? It's okay if it doesn't.
Uh-huh.
Is it carrying anything?
She thinks,
Does it have any hopes or dreams or desires?
she blinks, and she coughs. I'm gonna find
That's not good. That's
I'm
bad.
gonna find a...
What's that? What did I just do? I infected this kid with.
We need
symbiote.
bad music now, Nereus. Just please give the DM a moment.
Sorry. Yeah, I just
I
infected the
just-
kid with the
I just-
symbiote.
I just clicked and it's at 9 health, so we're just gonna go with it.
The
symbiote. Great.
This kid's venom now, and it's my fault.
It's really scary. They just want to cover everything with it.
Okay.
They want to make everything inky and black.
This is
Thank
a
you,
hard.
Kiri.
Kiri, this is a hard question. Okay. You know how you tell everyone that it's gonna be okay and that they're going to make it? What about the black ink? Is it going to make it, Kiri?
It hopes it does.
Sorry, you cut out on the mic.
It hopes it does.
It hopes it does. Okay. Why don't
Sorry,
we
it's
have
hard to tell.
grapes? No, I know. That's why I'm telling you. I know you can't tell. I know you can. Why don't you have some grapes? Let's not think about the terrible blackness that I've scarred you with. All right? Let's not. Ooh, grapes! Yay!
Let's change the music, please. Let's get a new music thing here.
I've scarred this child for life twice in one day.
Yum, 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 yum.
That's all right. She's not going to be around long enough for that trauma to ferment into anything.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry about your pots, but I believe in you. And you should believe in yourselves. That's what makes the pots lighter. Or on fire sometimes.
I think Rohiri it's probably like a whole line of questioning, but like basically trying to figure out like, if there's basically like if there are more people that have pots that are on fire, where we can figure out what the fire means, and like if we can figure out like what different types of pots mean.
Yeah, let me think of... There's some rules I think I'm going to have you make to help determine some of this. So why don't you start with insight?
Kiri,
like
can I
them quite
smoke in here? You don't have to worry about secondhand smoke anyway. So
Ah, you know, those lungs are really hoping for air.
I put my
Uh,
pipe away.
26.
Okay. With your good roll, what I'm going to say is that you're getting the sense that the fire has to do with people's intensity of things they want to have happen. And the size of pots seems to more determine the weight of expectations, or how big the expectation is.
Sophia's got a huge pot.
Big the expectation is, or how big they feel the expectation is.
Oh,
to
how
them.
they. So actually, interesting question. The what's inside is more, I would say, how big it kind of actually has been poured into, and the size of the pot is more how big you feel it is. And the fire or the light really is more of how big your essentially desire.
How much you've embraced that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Out of
Oh, and that's why
curiosity, how
yours is
big's
old
the
and
inside
fucking
of
cracked.
Rohirri's pod?
So one way to interpret is that Saphira has heavy expectations with not a lot of desires associated with it, while Rohirri doesn't feel like she has. Rohirri's is interesting because her pot is small, but it's like always flowing with something,
Yeah.
but it's also on fire. Very
Right.
strong desires for part of her expectations.
So does the fire doesn't necessarily.
It's more light, I would say,
It's-
and more like
it's-
luster of the pot is really a better way to put
So
it.
it's not emblematic of, because when you mentioned the fjord of Baratos, he was under a lot of pressure, so it doesn't necessarily denote like stress.
It's more of kind of like, so stress is an interesting way to ask about it, but I think she wouldn't see it as stress, more of like,
But
you
could
know.
stress still manifest as the fire?
It wouldn't manifest as the fire, it would manifest more as the pot and what's in
Gotcha.
the pot.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
And this is why Nereus didn't ask what his pot looked like.
Oh,
You know
it's fine.
what?
Rohirri
I'm-
asked so she could draw it.
I'm actually very curious what
Lithians is?
Lithians would have been, but he wasn't planning on coming in there. So
Okay, that is fair.
Well,
and
I
unless
feel like Rohirri
unless this
probably
goes on
has-
long enough that you think there'd be just an awkward, hey, we're sitting out here waiting for the conversation to be done with your daughter,
I will
then
leave
he
it,
would go in. But
I would leave it up to you, Lithian. I am happy to say that there is time, but if you feel you do not want to have Lithian to have that choice, then not necessarily.
No, you know what? If she is potentially coming back to Tyr Helene, is that what the
So right now she's
Or-
probably going to be in a divine parish in this
Right,
city.
right.
But
So-
eventually, potentially, that may be determined on some other factors.
I don't know that
Tyr
he's
Helene,
curious enough yet, but if he does, he will go on his own.
of course.
I feel like Rohirri probably makes a point to at least get a drawing of all of the parties.
Do you want Do you want Nereus? Do you want yours to be heard out loud, or do you want it to be like that she whispers to Rohirri?
Oh, I don't care. Nereus isn't going to ask, but if someone else says, he's not going
Okay.
to go. Don't! How dare you?
Basically, what you hear described is that your pot is a wider bowl, and the liquid in it, it's there's a word for this with the water tension. It's always at the surface, but never quite.
Oh, when it's
Yeah.
right at the surface, when it's
that's-
just bubbled over the surface, and
exactly
if you dropped a bit of oil on it, the surface
Yes.
tension would break and it would overflow.
correct.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
kind of constantly looking like that.
Almost
um,
overflowing.
Yeah, and I would say, compared to everyone's, your glow is a healthy glow. It's not on fire, but it is a healthy glow, I think, on it, is how I would describe it.
Wide pot Nereus. That's what they always called me.
Oh, Kiri.
So do I get a name now?
Yes, you do.
But I gotta figure out what I'm on Rado of.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you hope you're on Rado of?
Hope would be pretty cool. But you just said it, so am I not allowed to be that?
Well,
So, question.
Yes.
Should she not know?
Say again?
So, like in Whispers, whenever you guys began sparking, you knew instinctively what you would become the gods of.
So, with her case, what I'm arguing is that it's not necessarily she doesn't know, it's that the concept she is hearing all around her, she's not quite sure how to describe them.
Hmm.
yeah, does a 6-year-old have context for what all hope means?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I
Well,
mean, if I got to choose, I'd be the Onredo of happy endings. But I don't think that's realistic.
I like happy endings.
Yeah.
But hope sounds
Hope
pretty
does
good
seem
too.
apt then.
Yeah.
And it was your idea, so.
Yeah.
Let's see, on Rado of Hope, that would mean your name is Lucky.
Lucky.
Lockheed.
Lucky.
A prescient name. Bit long, but it's good. Yeah.
I'll be Luck then.
Lock,
Luck.
the on Rado of Hope.
Onredo of hope. Oh, Mom and Dad are gonna be so happy. They've been hoping for years.
Well, maybe their hopes have been answered. Tell me, Locke.
Yeah.
What is it that you would like to do? Do you know what happens now that you are an Onrado?
I get put in a monastery. That's what I was told.
Yes.
And then I might be going somewhere else.
Do you know what happens at the monastery?
I guess they teach you stuff, and then sometimes people ask you questions like you guys do.
Mm-hmm. You're going to get to learn whatever you want to learn. They will teach you skills, whatever you find to be interesting. They will provide for you whatever materials you need to make pottery.
That's good. I want to make more pottery.
Well,
And your
you will
parents
certainly
will
have
be-
the opportunity.
Yeah.
Your parents will be well taken care of.
Yes, they will.
Yeah? Well, that's
Yes.
good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I kind of hoped they would, but, you know, you're never really sure what the grown-ups are going to do.
Amen.
Your hopes were answered.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense for you, Locke.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
I hope your guys' hopes are answered.
Well, you've definitely helped us with that today, Locke. A
That's
lot.
good. I'm glad and hopeful. Oh, I can't stop using the word.
Well, that's good. It's a good word on you.
I think you would say she looks a little more put together. So while she is, of course, still mortal because she is Onrado, her skin kind of now has more formally patterned, like I described, and it's hard to see what they are at first because it seems like various strange, like jagged shapes. But as you kind of think about it, you realize it is shapes like shards of a pot.
All right, now you get 3 more grapes, and then that's enough sugar, okay?
Oh, I want more.
I know.
Okay.
There are some things even an Onrado can't control. All right?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right, chew. Complete the... Chew slowly. All right. now
Okay,
they-
but what if she hopes for more grapes?
Is it chewed all the way?
Yeah, I
Don't
feel
swallow
like
it all at once. Okay, all right. Okay, so well, here's some water. Make sure you drink that. I don't... Okay. Does anyone else have any more questions?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to have the rest of these grapes.
in your head, Lithian says, Nereus. Too bad you never had a chance to be a father. You were pretty good with kids.
Yeah. Well, one can hope. And
Yep, Saphira will excuse herself and head back out and join you, Lithian.
Rohiri, do you have anything you wanted to ask of Locke? On Ravenford?
I think once I have the drawings, that's about all I've got.
Okay.
Now that we've kind of figured out like what the different aspects of them mean.
Very good. Um. So. Go ahead.
Question:
Yes.
if she was able to see the pots of everyone, even if they weren't present.
I will say it's more of that she needs to like have it be focused, and the easiest way for her to focus is if it's linked. So part of the reason she saw the other apostles was she saw the ones in front of you, and she
Right.
had that crazy vision because you were told to like look in the ink.
Yeah, when Rohiri's asking her then to describe everybody's pots, including mine, I would assume our friend out in the other room, Lithian, I don't know if it's going to do anything, is going to cast protection from evil and good on himself in hopes that it might block her being able to look in on his pot.
Okay. Can someone put the description of the spell?
Yes, I will copy and paste that.
I
now.
know there's no rule about this. I just want to.
Right.
Make
I
a
was gonna say,
best
'cause, yeah, I
judgment.
don't know if as an on radio it changes you from humanoid.
go.
Or, whoops, I put it into the Twitch chat. But
I got it.
I put it in Roll20.
Yep.
Protected, protects disadvantages on attack rolls, can't be charmed, possessed.
It doesn't say you can't be scried.
That's kind of where I'm thinking. It's the scrying I was kind of wondering.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm
Would
going.
you allow me to do any kind of roll or save if I wanted to try and use my psychic abilities to block it in some way?
Ooh.
If not, that's fine. Just trying to find a more novel approach towards it.
Yeah, You know what would be better use of that? Would
Compel
be
duel.
Yeah.
to sort
Let's
of
get-
almost have a sort of feeling, like using your psychic abilities to kind of tell her that you don't want her.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
So
That I could easily do. Then I'll spend a dice.
a dice to do
then-
that. And so
Yeah.
Rohiri, when you ask, she just kind of blinks and goes, "He doesn't want me to say." And you can deal with those consequences as you wish, but she
That's
will
fine.
not reveal.
Yeah.
I feel like
can
Rohiri
imagine.
will just kind of shrug and move on to the next one.
That's
Yeah, I don't-
certainly fair.
Not too
Like,
hard.
it's not like not having Lithian's pot makes it so we can't figure out, like...
Right.
Exactly. But yeah, I would allow that. All right. So you guys go out into the room, and parents kind of see you all walk out. Is she all right?
Oh yes.
Yes.
She had a couple grapes. I'll leave you to see how many she may want in the future. Try to limit that.
She has taken the name Locke, goddess, the Onrado of hope.
Of hope. That makes sense. Of all things you said, that makes sense today. She was our little hope.
And she still is.
Yeah. Yeah.
She will be the hope for many, which I'm sure is little comfort.
She, this is the woman. She almost didn't make it into this world, you know?
Is that so?
It was close. Doctors, the Kyurgens say I would be my only child, so... she was our little hope from the beginning.
Well, she's very special.
That she is.
Ignoring everything about her Sparky. She is a very special young girl.
Yeah. And they nod. They just look sad. That's just how it's going to be. But they're more calm at least. And having an answer of what she's on Rado of at least. It seems to have this dual effect of making this real, but also meaning it's something they just can face now. They don't have to question.
And know this too. She is still Kiri, She's still your daughter, and that will not change.
Yeah. Guess trying to elicit a curfew might be a little bit harder, though. They don't tell you how to.
Probably.
They don't tell you how to parent an Onredo.
No, but I imagine that as much as some things will change, many more will stay the same.
Yeah.
She still likes sugared grapes.
That she does. That she does.
Well, let us not take up any more of your time this evening. Should you need us, the Raidiri?
Right, yeah, Raidiri.
The Raidiri know how to get in contact with us, but I think you're in good hands.
Thank you. All of you. Thank you. For
Of
this.
course.
I'll take my leave.
When we step away, she's going to look at everyone. Well, I have to go report to my goddess. This is unprecedented.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's nightfall. So obviously you guys can absolutely contact your deities in your divine parishes. However, Rohiri, where are you staying tonight?
That's a great question because I hadn't gotten that far.
Where are you gonna go?
If you need a room somewhere, Rohiri, you're always welcome to share mine.
Would I actually be welcome in Lysilia's temple though? Because I'm assuming that's where the room is.
All are welcome in Lysilia's temple.
You'd be allowed in. I mean,
They let anyone in.
there will be. People are gonna have immediate assumptions as to why you're there, but
It's going to be
That's
a bit of a public thing that the Apostle of Kethek was seen in Lysilia's temple, but might be delightful. What's life without a little scandal?
Look, you've already blown open one hole today.
True. Wait, what? I feel like I
She
missed
just
something.
looks over at you. Wow.
That wasn't in character.
No, okay.
No, that
She's
was over.
hoping to put a
That was
hole
over
in her
the psychic
pot.
network.
I'm just kidding.
We need to get away from this kid for her own sake.
Well, I will be returning to my parish to speak with Lysilia one way or the other. I have a report to make. You would all best do the same.
Yeah, she probably if she has to talk with Kethek, she may as well just deal with the Archbishop at the same time.
All right. We're gonna have. I guess. Do you guys want to rest first, or are we just gonna have it that you guys are gonna stay up a little bit later and you're gonna sleep in the next day?
Yeah, she'll just stay up and talk to her. Like, this is important.
Did I know that Nereus, before we got there, had mentioned that Kiri could stay there until sort of the next morning?
Yes.
But I feel like that was under the assumption of before you take her. Since we're taking the parents as well, Lithian would help to escort all of them to Helene's area.
You would
here
do that
in
the
Lisbon.
next day. So
That's fine, okay.
if you can let the Raidiri know you'll be by to help with that process. I mean, they're gonna
Yep.
still come with you,
Sure,
but
sure.
you
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah,
lead
yeah,
it.
that's fine,
Yeah,
that's
that's totally fine. So they would just say, just come in the next day. They're already tired. We're not
Yep.
gonna try to move them tonight.
It's been a day. Everyone needs to sleep.
Yeah.
Right. Then in that case, yes, I would also go to report to Helene.
Okay. So I want to. Here's what we're gonna kind of do, just based on time. I want to just kind of know what people have any specific kind of conversations with their deities, and we're otherwise going to. And I also kind of want to know what people are kind of doing the next day. I'm just kind of looking at time, and just to be transparent, I want to leave room for other things people want to do before I do our stinger for the battle. I'm fine with that, just waiting till next week, but I just want to be transparent about that. So, first of all, what people have like a conversation they want to do versus just sending information. Just kind of let me know. Rohiri, you're gonna go last.
Yeah. She wants to talk to her goddess because she has heckin' concerns about the fact that a 6-year-old just sparked.
Okay. Lithian? I just want to hear summaries and then I'll.
Yeah, I think he wants to relay, and he's not usually much of like, a question person. He's not going to get
Yes.
indignant like somebody might. But I think I would like it to be a conversation just to potentially see if he can't grab some insight out of it.
Got it.
I don't believe that I have anything specific that he wants to do after that. But if anyone wants to add a little bit more, drama to whatever it is that they're doing and would like Lithian to help, or just show up to be a little bit of a thorn in your side to make things more interesting, that's fine too.
You've got something to do the next day anyway, so that's fine.
Cool.
Darius?
The only thing that I want Mary Miro to know is that I would just inform him, and the only question that I would ask him is, does he expect more children to spark? And that would be it. And I don't expect his answer to be clear, but that would be my that would be my only question for him.
What about you, Rohiri?
Probably a quick update to Kethik about,
Oh, Barrett
hey,
does
a
little
6-year-old
hole in
just
that
turned
wall?
into the, Onrado of Hope, and also made that hole you wanted.
All right, so I want to give some time and roleplay for all these conversations, so let me ask you all this. I am fine with pushing my battle. That is not a concern for me. Are you guys thinking you want to have some time for next time to kind of explore these things, or do you want to get this done now? What are kind of some thoughts we're feeling? Because I'm fine either
When are we
way.
thinking of ending? Because when are we thinking of ending?
It's already 6 o'clock, so...
That's what I thought we were aiming
Yeah.
for. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
No, we-
happy to go either way. I'm happy to do the conversations. I'm happy to push the conversations off and then do the stinger. Whatever you want to do.
If we're okay to push them off, I think that would be... Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm
we
good
don't
either way.
have to do
Okay,
those right now.
I didn't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
okay. I just want to make sure people are on the same page of like, no, I want some time and actually have a good conversation with our
Let us
deities.
please bestow upon you, the DM, the greatest gift that we can. Whatever prep you have for the battle, you get to wait even longer to use it.
Yeah,
I know.
You can use it later.
Thank God. That's fine. I'm not going to do the stinger because it needs to be later.
Yep.
So we're going to end this with everybody going to your different locations. Rohiri, whew, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And
I don't believe that.
and we're going to start next time with each of you returning to your deities and seeing what comes of that.
Oh, also, something else I will add, Sarah, just so you can think about this if you
Yes.
need to. Something that just
Yeah.
just random inspiration that I had. But since Kiri is now going to be back in Helene's area, and she has this ability to see the pots of things, since Helene has the black inky thing that I took to her,
Mhm.
he could show it to Kiri to look at its pot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see where it